In this video, we're going to talk about the chain rule and how to use it to solve calculus problems. So the chain rule goes something like this. If you have a function called y at x equals f at g at x, then the derivative of y at x, y prime at x, is going to equal the derivative of f at g at x times the derivative of g at x. Now, of course, another way I can write this is I can just keep, let's say there's more functions within the function, you would just keep multiplying the derivative of the different functions within the functions. I know that doesn't really make too much sense, so I'll demonstrate that in just a bit with a couple of examples. So for example, let's just start with the most simplest form. So when you have one function inside another function, let's say you're given a function y at x equals sine x cubed. Okay, what would the derivative y prime at x be? Well, we know that there's a function within a function, right? We have the sine function, but we also have x cubed within that sine function. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take the derivative of a sine function and then multiply that by the derivative of this function x cubed here. So it'll look something kind of like this. So you'll have, let's get a different color here. We'll have something like this. Okay, d by dx, so the derivative of sine whatever times the derivative of x cubed, so whatever was in that box. So let's evaluate this then. So we'll go y prime at x is equal to the derivative of sine, which is cos, right? The derivative of a sine function is a cos function. So we're going to go cos x cubed. Okay, that's this step right here. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this by the derivative of x cubed, and which we know from our power rule is 3x squared. So we take 3, multiply that by x, and then subtract 1 from the exponent. So we're going to go 3x squared. Okay, so there you have it. Now let's do another example here. So let's say you're given a function f at x equals, okay, we're going to have a function within a function within a function, x squared to the power of 4 to the power of 3. Okay, so now we have a function within a function. We have this x squared function, then we have this, okay, whole thing to the power of 4, and then we have this whole thing to the power of 3. So by definition, the chain rule is going to be the derivative, okay, with respect to x of the outer function, okay, which is this box, this entire expression to the power of 3, okay, times the derivative of the next inner function, okay, which would be this one here, to the power of 4, times the last function here, which is the derivative with respect to x squared. Now, of course, a much simpler way to do this would just be to multiply these exponents. So simplify this function first by multiplying these exponents. So you would get, we'll say f at x, okay, we get a much simpler function. So 3 times 4 times 2 is just 24. So x to the 24. And then we can easily get the derivative from that. So 24 x to the power of 23. And that would be much easier. But unfortunately, not all functions within a function take this form, so you would have to do it in this way here. Okay, so if we're to evaluate it using this format, we would get f prime at x equals, okay, so the derivative of the outer function, okay, so that would be this. So 3 times that to the power of 2, okay, x squared to the power of 4 times 2 times, okay, the derivative of the next function, okay, so of the next inner function, so that would be 4, okay, x squared to the power of 3, right? Because in this step now we're taking the derivative of this function here. Okay, this function. And then last but not least, we're going to multiply that by the derivative of the inner function, which is this. Okay, which is just going to be 2x. Right, simplifying that, we get 3x to the power of 16. Okay, we're just multiplying these exponents here, times 4x to the power of 6 times 2x. And if we simplify that even further, we get 24x to the power of 23. Okay, so we multiply these coefficients here, and then we take these x's and add up the exponents. So 16 plus 6 plus 1, okay, that would be a 1 there, is equal to 23. So as you can see here, we get the exact same answer here and the exact same answer here. So that is the chain rule.